Dial please for me.
Welcome to the Rotary Club of Edina. I'm your host, Josh Sprague, proud president of the #1 club in the universe. I'd like to extend a special welcome to all the guests, friends, and visiting Rotarians Zooming with us today. Before we get started, let's review our quick tips for making this a more productive and enjoyable Zoom call. Mute your audio during the presentation. We have a lot of videos today, so that will be very helpful if you can do that. Rename yourself in the participants list. We'll be taking attendance and screenshots of those lists. Use the chat for any comments about the year you'd like to share. There's no speaker questions, but we'd love to have those comments recorded into the record. And of course, the meeting is being recorded. This year's presidential theme was Rotary Connects the World. And I watched with pleasure and joy as our club turned these 4 words into action, both locally and around the world. The year started off with a bang with our service trip to Guatemala in April, followed by the Rotary International Convention in Hamburg, Germany in June. We hosted a district-wide workshop on human trafficking in September, and we hosted Drs. Posadas and Menendez from Guatemala in a special meeting in October. We also hosted not 1, but 2 Rotary International leaders, Jennifer Jones and Stephanie Urchek, along with 40+ other sensational speaker meetings, both in person and later online via Zoom and Facebook. All these programs brought us together in meaningful ways with people from across the state and world in furtherance of our purpose of building international goodwill, peace, and understanding. And so it is with great pride that I present the 2019-20 year-end video and highlight reel showing our club's dedication to this year's theme, Rotary Connects the World.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, 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 come on. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't need control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop, stop, stop. Under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. I can't stop the feeling, yeah. So keep dancing. Come on. Oh, yeah.
What an awesome year. Oh, and now I'd like to thank today's volunteers who helped make this meeting possible and invite our incoming officer and future president, Shelley Loberg, to lead us in the invocation, Pledge of Allegiance, and four-way test. Shelley?
Thank you, Josh. You know, as our club transitions from one leader to another, in a time when there's a lot of changes and shifts in thinking that are upon us, I'd like to share some inspirational quotes from past leaders that I came across and really resonated with. The first one is by Harry S. Truman, and he said, "Progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for the better." Jesse Jackson said, "Leadership cannot just go along to get along. Leadership must meet the moral challenge of the day." And Henry Ford said, "Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning will stay young. The greatest gift in life is to keep your mind young." Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Shelley. And
My
before we
pleasure.
get going with the rest of the program, just wanted to remind you tonight's the installation of Tom Gump, 7 to 7:30. You can check out the video on YouTube and Facebook, and we've already sent out the links on that. So let's get into today's transition program, starting with a quick review of this year's goals and achievements. Needless to say, we set the bar high and set out to achieve a number of goals from 3 different sources: the Rotary International Presidential Citation, the club's 5-year vision plan, and an independent list of goals for each committee. The results of our team's efforts were remarkable, and I invite you to review them in detail in our annual written report coming out in July. For now, let's review the 7 broad club goals that I laid out in the beginning of the year. Here they are. Grow membership. It was a challenging year for membership recruitment, especially in our pandemic spring. But one thing we did manage to do was recruit a class of 50% women and 20% under 40, which is actually meets our 5-year vision plan goals. I think these demographics are a good harbinger of the future as incoming membership director Bridget Hallstrom and her team work on boosting our recruitment numbers in the following Rotary year. Second, growing giving on the Earth and Turf side. We had an excellent year of fundraising for both foundations. Let's take a look at the numbers here on the Earth side. Edina Rotary Foundation, here's our historical chart here. On the right, you can see this year our net $134,400, and that doesn't include an additional $25,000 private donation, which put us at nearly $160,000. We could not have achieved these historic results without our members' generosity, of course, and without the superlative leadership of our gala co-chairs, Katie Campbell and Gary Pedersen. Now let's take a quick look at where that money went. So in terms of our budgeted projects, you can see how much we ended up spending on all of these different awesome committed community service projects that we do. Total $16,000 out the door. On the youth service side, you can see again our programs listed here. For Camp Ryla and the literacy program, Andy and Elmer's unfortunately were canceled due to the pandemic, but the rest of our programs and grants here took place, including 2 $1,500 scholarships to Edina High School. And then in terms of local grants, here's a list of some of the grants we did, including recently, you'll see that Edina Education Fund, COVID-19 Meal Relief Fund. Below that, our $20,000 Edina Rotary Global Scholars Program, the largest in the history of our club for a signature project. And then the next page down, just at the very bottom, you'll see a recent grant. Actually, just this week, yesterday, the foundation voted to approve a grant to the Edina Community Foundation COVID relief program, which is really geared more towards business relief. And then a special grant for the George Floyd Memorial Scholarship at the University of Minnesota through Wallen Education Partners, with 9 other Rotary clubs that will be taking place next year. So $71,000 there. Now on the international side, here's all the grants that went out the door, including our global grants here, the Escuintla Hospital Water Project that we've have been working on, the Coban, Guatemala Water Project and Service Trip that was recently approved for a district grant. So we'll be going back to Guatemala to do that together next year, and a number of other highly just effective programs really all over the world, as you can see. So on the Rotary Foundation side, right now we're at $141,000 gross. That's the second highest in the last 10 years. About 80,000 of that to the annual fund, and over $30,000 to polio. So actually a really incredible result, and we're still climbing every day. Thank you again to our members and to Susan Stiles and her team for your generosity. So the remaining goals: develop new leaders and attack the gender gap. It's something we've been working on. We had a great crop of young leaders on our boards. In addition, our board was 40% female. I think the idea here is if we want more women in our club, we need to show a leadership at the top of the pyramid. Take a look at this chart here that highlights that. Next year, 57% female composition on the board. This year, 43%. And you can see historically, we're headed in the right direction on that. Enhance the value of membership. We added some perks this year. We had a paid for admission to Michael Caruso's leadership conference, a paid for $450 registration fee to the Rotary International Conference in Hawaii, which I'm sad to say was canceled. We also had our free ACH dues payment system and our new text notification system that we're piloting this year, and that we hope helps you get connected to the current information about meetings and other important events. Public image: we launched our Instagram channel, grew our social media following significantly, expanded our YouTube channel with more content in 1 year than in the last 10 years. We hosted multiple very well attended district and area-wide speaker meetings and workshops, and had 2 members get significant interviews with local TV stations following the human traffic workshop. That's Renee Harberts and Bonnie Rolstead. So it was a busy year, and I want to thank not only Jennifer Hendrickson and her public image committee for their great work, but also our silent partner behind the scenes, social media manager, Amy Majewski. And finally, improving systems. Club administrator Becky Mikulski, the #1 administrator in the universe, worked tirelessly in the background to improve payment, accounting, and registration systems to make our club more efficient. On top of all of this, we achieved the Platinum Presidential Citation, the highest honor for a club in Rotary International, which we will detail again in our annual report in July. So what I'd like to say to all of you and to all the committee members is congratulations on another exceptional year for the Rotary Club of Edina, and for your gift of time, talent, and treasure that you selflessly give to our cause. And now I'd like to take a few moments to recognize the leadership team from this year, what I call Team Rotary. On the club board side, we had Fred Sylvester in club service, Kelly Burnett, community service grants, Lisa Walker, who took over midstream for Kenny Smith and community service projects, Shelley with international service, David in youth service, Renee, her 3rd year as social director, Royce Pavelka in membership, Jen Hendrickson as our public image director, and Susan Stiles as our TRF chair, plus the 5 officers. Thank you all so much. It was such a joy working with you. I can't even tell you And we had a great and very social year together. On the foundation board side, we have Paul Peterson, Brandon Asbill, who share a position since they're both past community service chairs. Gary Pedersen as past international service chair, just completing 4 years of service. Jennifer Benarat as our at-large director, Jeff O at-large, Jody Kern at-large, and Ann Platt also at-large, plus the 5 officers. And again, such a great team to work with and so wise. And really, if you could see what they do behind the scenes, I think you'd be very impressed and know that you're in great hands in terms of stewardship. And then last, the officers group, Joe Hayes, Secretary Joe Hayes. Sam Thompson, your president-elect. John Flynn, past president, and Michael Stanzak. Again, a great, positive, and supportive and engaged group of leaders. Thank you all for everything that you do in your positions. Let's give them all of our leaders, the club board, foundation board, and officers, a round of applause. The Stevie Ray way. Thank you so much. And they'll be honored again tonight with some special gifts at our board party. So now we're ready for part 2 of today's transition program. Oh, wait, there's more. How can I forget these awesome people behind the scenes and part of our leadership team? Ann Platt on Rare. She worked with Scott McDonald and Bob Stellick throughout the year. They went back and forth, but Ann, thank you for actually a pretty busy year for yourself and your team. Jennifer Benarat, Special Services. I can't even begin to thank you, Jennifer, for all of the things behind the scenes, from the gala to special projects for the president, public image, everything else you do. You are just an amazing person and a powerhouse. Becky Mikulski, of course, who I worked closely with on so many things. Our incredible gala chairs, Katie Campbell and Gary Pedersen, who were a joy to work with, who just crushed it on the gala. And Brad Hepp, our speaker chair, who put together 40+ sensational programs. Thank you all as well. So now part 2 of the transition meeting today, which was recorded this morning at the Rotary TV studios in Edina, Minnesota. Let's take a look as we honor our outgoing board members, our Rotarian of the Year, and our incoming president, Sam Thompson.
Well, it's transition time. And as part of that ceremony, we'd like to recognize our outgoing directors for both the club and the foundation boards. This year, we have 6 board members completing their terms. On the club side, we say farewell to John Flynn, aka the Spreadsheet King, who served 5 years as an officer on the club and foundation boards, moving through the ranks as secretary, treasurer, president-elect, president, and then this year, past president. John had this to say about his time on the board. Josh, please let me apologize for missing our transition meeting today. I'm on special assignment with my son and 10 of his former college buddies who arrived at my cabin last night. My insurance advisor strongly suggested I be with them. I really enjoyed serving our club while working through the chairs the past 5 years. Looking back, it's hard to pick a highlight when so many people gave so generously of their time and resources. The entire journey was an inspiration. I especially want to thank the board members and committee chairs that served with me and did the heavy lifting. Each year, we seem to outdo the year before, and this year was no exception. Congratulations, Josh, on your resourcefulness and enthusiasm as you successfully guided us through such unusual times. Well done. And I am very excited about next year as Sam Thompson leads our club. I see wonderful opportunities ahead for us all. Thank you again, Josh, and good luck, Sam. John, thank you again for your many years of service and your astute leadership. John continues on as at-large director of the foundation in the coming Rotary year. We also say farewell to Royce Pavelka, who served 2 years as membership director. Royce, please step forward and receive your recognition award.
Thank you, Josh.
Let's show that to the camera a little bit here.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
That's fancy.
Have a seat. thanks again for your service.
Thank
Any
you,
memories
Josh.
you want to share from those years? Something that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think two things specifically. One being a newer member still to the club in my mind when I became membership director was to see behind the scenes of everything that really goes into making the club run and what all the directors are doing, all the committee chairs, all that. There's just so much more going on than I ever knew. So it was great to see that and be a part of that. And then also being the membership director, obviously just being able to meet all the new people coming into the club, all the prospects, and to really get plugged in with the newer people coming in and helping them bridge that gap and that transition of becoming a new member was a lot of fun.
As a former membership director, it's a very rewarding experience, and we just want to thank you for your leadership these 2 years, and especially this last half a year, which was a difficult time for membership for everybody in the world. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you, Josh, for urging me to do it.
you bet, and we'll see you on the next committee.
Absolutely.
You go ahead. Thanks. Next, we have Renee Harberts, who served 3 years, or 1.5 terms, as social director. Renee, please step forward to receive your recognition. Please roll forward.
Yeah, roll forward, rolling forward. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I love it. Thank you, Josh.
Go ahead and grab that mic.
Well, that's heavy, too.
Yeah. Shelley can maybe help you with that one as we roll out. So tell me a little bit about your experience over those 3 years as social director.
Well, I'll tell you that, of all the reasons, the many reasons that people join Rotary, I think one of the most important reasons is for the social aspect of it. So as Rotarians, we love to connect. We love to unite on common goals and common projects. And I have always said that my belief is that really people work best when they work together with their friends. And so actually that's what I think the social committee does, exactly that, is we bring together events where people can connect, they can make small talk and become friends. And then that way we just have better synergy when we work together on our projects.
We have great relationships in Rotary, and you've been a huge part of helping us build those stronger, as this year's theme, Rotary Connects the World, is into action on your committee. So I want to thank you for serving really 2 terms, and it's been so great working alongside you, and I wish you best on the next endeavor.
Yeah, there'll be a next, but this year we had a great year, even though COVID tried to stop us, but Josh, under your leadership, you didn't let that happen. So I commend you. We still had a really busy social season. We had, I could list the events. We still had 8 fireside chats. We had 10 happy hour vocational developments. We had our traditional bowling. We had 3 holiday get-togethers. We had wine tasting events, and then we did your, Josh, suggestion this year was to nothing brings people together better than food. And so we had 3 private dining events this year, and one unfortunately got canceled. We had 2 at Belcourt, 1 downtown Minneapolis. 1 got canceled, but altogether it was a great year. It's been a great 3 years. I'm kind of sad to go. I'll miss it, but I'll still stay connected because we'll have some more social events.
That's right.
And I guess of the years, I'm really proud of the work that our committee did to present and bring together these events, and really for the opportunities to build goodwill and better friendships for all. So my pleasure. Thanks, Josh. It was
Thanks
a pleasure
again.
working with you.
Yeah. Why don't I give that to Shelley, and Shelley can help you with that. Okay. Finally, on the club side, we have Shelley Loberg, who served 3 years, or 1.5 terms, as International Service Director. Shelley, please step forward and receive your recognition. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Thank you.
So tell us briefly, what are the things that stood out over those really 2 terms, like Renee?
Well, first, I have to acknowledge that it was a tremendous learning experience for me because 3 years ago when I came into this chair position, there were a lot of things I didn't know or understand yet about our grant processes for Rotary International. So I need to thank people who have been my mentors, one of those being Gary Pedersen and
Here, here.
Tim Murphy and Dan Mott. I would say, you know, these are three gentlemen I've grown very close with, and we have great talks, and we share all the same passions for international service, and that's really meaningful. You know, I got to help write and then help finish and then see in person a tremendous grant effort with the well in Escuintla, and that was really, really rewarding for me. And I think overall, if I really look back at the last 3 years, certainly you put a lot of time and effort into any leadership position, but I have received way more than I have given, and that's been a tremendous blessing for me.
I agree 100% with that. And you know what? We're looking forward to you as our president-elect, and next officer. So we will see you in the board meeting room very soon again.
Yes, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Now, on the foundation side, we say farewell to Gary Pedersen, who served 4 years as past International Service Chair Representative to the Foundation Board. Gary, please step forward and receive your recognition.
Thank you so much, Josh.
Absolutely.
That means a lot to me.
Have a seat. There's a microphone for you there. So tell us a little bit about the highlights for you. You did 2 full terms, so that's a long time on the board, and you've seen a lot.
I was involved with International for 2 terms. I actually joined Rotary in 1986 and came to the meetings and enjoyed all of that, but until I got involved with the board, I really didn't understand the full complexity of how our club runs, how much effort it takes for people to make decisions and allocate resources. And I also, through the board responsibility on International, got to see how our district runs, and ultimately with the global grants, being able to see how Rotary International works. And we, as you know, we did a large global grant in Guatemala, and it's interesting to see how complex Rotary is, but how it's so focused on delivering the results. So I enjoyed understanding how it works, and I would say the International gave me an opportunity to see a broader view of life. Get to see projects across the world. We did projects in Africa, we did projects in India, we did projects in Central and South America. And those international projects help you view that there's more to the world than our little microcosm here, and it tells me that Rotary is really an international type of an organization and really relies on people across the world. And I think finally I would say that my experience on the board taught me a lot about people. Certainly the Rotarians that I got to work with, but I was fortunate enough to travel to Guatemala a couple times and see firsthand how people live and how other cultures are, and finding out that people are kind of the same all over the world. And it's our job with the resources that we have to support them and to help them. And you know, the Clean Water Initiative was a big deal for our Guatemala project, and I hope to continue to be involved with International going forward. So it's been a real learning journey for me, and I appreciate your leadership in this process, and it's been a great time.
Well, I want to thank you, and I mentioned this the other day, I want to thank you for your precision and your resilience, because the international grant process is very complicated and it takes many years, and you really stuck in there, and you've helped us both stabilize and grow our international arm of service. So just from all the leadership and our membership, thank you.
Well, thank you for everything you've done.
You bet. Okay, and last and certainly not least, we say goodbye to Jeff O., who served 2 years as an officer on the Foundation Board, first as president in 2014, and past president in 2015, and then 4 years as at-large director to the board. In addition to his board service, Jeff was a chief founder and fundraiser for the Legacy Fund and helped grow that fund to over $250,000, at which point it began to distribute income on an annual basis to the Edina Rotary Foundation, including over $11,000 this fiscal year. Jeff, please step forward and receive your recognition. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Well, it's been a long ride, and we were talking on the phone the other day, and I think it's important just to share a quick background on how this foundation board and legacy fund evolved. So bring me back to even closer to before 2014 and how things evolved.
Well, as I moved into the chairs to become an officer of our club, had the pleasure of serving with people like Paul Moody and Scott McDonald and Steve Slice and Wooge. And as I thought about what I wanted to accomplish when I was president, I worked with Paul and decided we were going to start an endowment fund or a legacy fund for the Edina Rotary Foundation. And when we thought about doing that, we recognized that we need to strengthen our bylaws and kind of the structure of the Edina Rotary Foundation and more formalize it. We'd always had the foundation board, which consisted of the officers of the club, but we decided we wanted to broaden that out a little bit to include other members of our club and just formalize the whole process and separate the meetings. And we did that in 2014 as I became president, and we're lucky enough to have some generous people give money to the Legacy Fund and have been able to spit off some money from the Legacy Fund over the last number of years. And we do have a large amount of commitments as well from an estate standpoint too. And so it's been really fun to watch it kind of grow and cement that legacy that we need to have, and also that institutional knowledge, which is so important.
Yeah.
When you have a volunteer organization like Rotary, where every year we're switching leadership, and over time, you kind of lose that memory of what we're doing. And so it's nice to have now that foundation board that's separate, to have that legacy fund in place. So hopefully we'll be able to spit off money to supplement our fundraiser in the coming years.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun. Jennifer Benarat is such a key member of our club and was such a key part of that whole process as well in setting it up. She's really good at bylaws and organization, and she was tremendous.
Well, I just want to thank you for being the chief architect of bringing us really to the next level. I agree the knowledge on the board is really impressive, and thank you on a personal note for being a great mentor to me.
Well, I appreciate that, Josh. I think that all of us bring strengths to the table, and for you to be our leader during this crazy time with the shutdown was perfect. You've done a great job, and I commend you and the rest of the board. And I think about that legacy of leadership and all the mentors that I had in Rotary, and then you think about after you is Sam, and Sam's going to do a great job, and then we've got Michael Stanzak and Joe Hayes, and then Shelley, as you mentioned earlier. It's just fun to watch everybody bring their strengths to the table, and that's why we have such a great club.
Amen. Thanks again for being here.
Thanks, Josh.
Appreciate it. Okay, and now it's time to present the Rotarian of the Year Award, given each year to that member of our club demonstrating exemplary service to our community, to our membership, and to our humanitarian mission. The recipient of this award should personify our motto of service above self in all their endeavors, and through their actions, demonstrate their adherence to our core values of fellowship, leadership, integrity, diversity, and service. And so, with that in mind, it's now my great pleasure to present the 2020 Rotarian of the Year Award to my friend, mentor, and fellow Rotarian, Gene Morrison. Gene, come and get it.
Oh.
I tricked you.
You did trick me. Oh, you're going to make me cry.
Let's see. Oh, we got it upside down. Here we go.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. It's beautiful.
Congratulations.
Thank
We have a pin
you.
that goes by. I won't show that, but have a seat. I want to just say a couple words before we
Okay.
get your reaction here. Just so
Well-
everyone knows, I brought Gene here under false pretenses.
Yes,
so,
you did.
so let me
Yes,
just
you
share
did.
some of your background and accomplishments, most of which were in the nominating statement I submitted for this award. Jean's very first experience with Rotary was as youth exchange student to France.
Yes.
After completing that program, Jean stayed connected to her host family and has stayed in close contact for 51 years. Sadly, Jean's beloved French father died just last week at the age of 96. I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, thank you.
Jean was the second woman to join the Rotary Club of Edina in 1989 and is the longest serving active female member of our club. Over her 31 years of service, Jean has been an unwavering asset to our organization. Jean participated for many years in the Phyllis Wheatley Bethune Community School Mentorship Program in North Minneapolis, where Jean was a key volunteer and organizer of that program, and after 23 years still stays in touch with her very first mentee, Morgan. Jean was also part of the committee that launched the Thanksgiving Baskets program, the Rare Committee, and on her own initiative, the Holiday Gift Giving program. Jean has delivered Thanksgiving meals with Tom Persch for 29 years and dressed as the turkey and done magic tricks with Bob Solheim for 25 years. Jean has served on the board, chaired the fundraiser multiple times. I remember those, they were great. And also chaired Camp Enterprise and served as a breakout speaker there for many years. In this Rotary year, Jean not only helped launch our new Career Mentor program, but also on her own launched the Rotary Helping Hands program this spring as a way to reach out to our members during the pandemic. Above all else, Jean is a constant source of encouragement, support, and mentorship for many people. And Jean will meet for coffee and conversation with anyone who asks, sharing her rich professional knowledge and experience with those who are interested. I had coffee with you several times. Jean stands as a shining example of the Rotary motto of service above self, and she is an inspiration to people both inside and outside of our organization. For these and many other reasons, Jean Morrison is our Rotarian of the Year.
Wow. That's all I can
An
say
audience
is
of
wow.
one clapping. Out there, they're going like that. Oh
Wow,
man, it's so
thank you.
it's so fun
Oh,
to
my
work with you.
goodness.
And you know, a long time ago, I thought about you for this, and then this year happened, and it just cemented it in place. As I said, an unwavering asset to us, and really an inspiration. And just tell us a little bit about your reaction and your experience in Rotary.
Yeah, I'm touched. It brings tears to my eyes when I think of
Hold that a little closer. There you go.
Starting as an exchange student, so that was a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember my parents. I went home one day and I said, "We have an interview at school for me being an exchange student." They were shocked, and so we had a family interview, and I met the most wonderful couple, and I became like a daughter for them, and they became parents for me. So
that was the entry.
That was the entry, thanks to Rotary. And so for me, I always wanted to give back to Rotary for really changing my life, setting my life on a course. I went to college to be a diplomat at the UN. So I got degrees in international business, international relations, languages. And in some way, in what I do in my practice, it does promote peace and understanding. And so I always wanted to be a Rotarian, but women couldn't be a Rotarian.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell Chris Ann this, I opened the Edina Sun, living and working in Edina, and there was her picture. We still both have a copy of that.
That's great.
And so I called the president of one of the banks in Edina, and I said, I want to be a Rotarian. And I come every week to give back, honestly. It's deep in my soul that experience as an exchange student truly changed my life.
Well, I got to tell you, we love the energy and the fun you have doing these programs in Rotary. And Wooge has written a book. I think it's time for you to write your Rotary book next. And I'm looking forward to reading that.
Oh, well, thank you. This is very touching after, when I think about it, 51 years ago in the month of August. That's a long time. It's a long time to really be a Rotarian. And I've had a chance to attend Rotary meetings throughout the world, a lot in France, and meet the club that sponsored me when I was 16.
Wow.
As an adult, it was great. Brought my French father here when he was 80. Gave him a Paul Harris Fellow. And it was just, the whole thing has just been, it's just been a rich, rich part of my life.
We've been the primary beneficiary of your membership. So again, from all of the members of our club,
Thank you so much.
thank you. And we look forward to your next endeavors and your book.
Thank you.
Go ahead, just throw that right there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, guess what? It's transition time, and it's time to present our next president for the 2020-21 Rotary year, Sam Thompson. Sam joined the club in March 2013 and was sponsored by Mary Husted. Sam's classification is business intermediary, and he owns and operates Transitions in Business in Edina. Sam and his wife Kim live in Minneapolis, and they have 3 children, Ray, 27, Sean, 23, and Lee, 23. From the minute Sam joined our club, he hit the ground running, taking on the chair position of Camp Enterprise and showing his character and mettle as a leader. Sam also co-chaired the 2016 annual gala and fundraiser and led a sensational evening of fun and fellowship that netted over $108,000 for our foundation, the Edina Rotary Foundation. Sam was an appointed officer and served as secretary in the 2017-18 Rotary year, as treasurer in 2018-19, as president-elect this year, and now as president in the coming Rotary year. What I've learned serving alongside Sam is that he is a person of integrity, is extremely diligent and extremely kind, has a great strategic mind, and has a heart for service. And so now, it is my honor and privilege to introduce your 2020-21 Rotary Club of Edina president, my friend and fellow Rotarian, Sam Thompson.
All right.
Congratulations. We're going to do the pinning ceremony here and exchange pins.
Okay.
We got it down.
Got it down, Josh.
Have a
Okay.
seat.
Well, thanks, Josh. Josh, I got to thank you for a spectacular year. I'm a firm believer that we are placed in situations for a reason, and Josh, you have been the perfect person to be placed in our club this past year to guide us through the challenges. Our theme this last year was Rotary Connects the World, and when we couldn't meet, Josh jumped into action. He connected us with his technical skills, starting with Facebook in his living room here, and eventually getting into Zoom and connecting us with announcements and with our speakers. Rotary is a people of action, and Josh, you are a man of action. Flat out, you get things done. In all my years in business and in volunteering, I've never known anybody that can work as quickly as you do and as effectively as you do. And just, it's not only beyond COVID. You had a tremendous year. Many accomplishments, and I'll just list a few. The Guatemala trip, what a hit that was. Over 30 people from other clubs within our district. You implemented the mentor program on a monthly basis that we had 1 hour right before our meetings. That went over very well. First time ever the car show. 4th of July over at Southdale Lot. It was great promotion for us, and it was a good fundraiser. Record Gala with Katie and Gary and your team. Record fundraiser. It's unbelievable. And one thing you don't know is behind the scenes, Josh, you really upgraded our systems. As far as Josh is a process guy, and he made sure that we had all our processes in place to make sure we were running efficiently. And of course, social media. What a star with the social media and in getting us out there, working with Jen Hendrickson and making sure that our name was out there. Many more hits. And for all you've done now, I'd like to recognize you with just a few awards. So give me a second here. The first award is whenever you start our meetings, you say, "Welcome to the Rotary Club of Edina. I'm your host, Josh Sprague." Well, Hollywood caught wind of this. Hollywood found, I don't know if they saw it on YouTube or what, but they actually have an award for what you just did. And they did send it to me that I can present to you. So you actually get the Host Oscar Award from Hollywood.
Ooh.
And I don't know if you can go up on that, but it's for the star host. So great job, Josh.
I always wanted an Oscar. Thank you.
Okay.
That's great. We'll put him right here.
But in all seriousness, I want to thank you on behalf of our two boards, the club board and the foundation board, and all of our membership. And we want to give you the Rotary Connects the World Globe.
Oh, great. That is so cool.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh, that's awesome.
Congratulations.
I always wanted to hold the world in the palm of my hands.
Okay, and then we also have, we got quite a few things back here. We also have the traditional plaque and gavel.
That's great.
So we want to
Thank
make
you
sure
very
you
much.
get that. And finally, one more thing. I think we've got it back here. Normally, when we have our meetings, our transition meeting, we scurry everybody into the back room and we have a card that everybody signs. Well, obviously, we couldn't do that this year. But our superstar administrator, Becky, was able to arrange a digital card. So many people have signed this, and it's a thank you to you, Josh. There's some really good comments on there.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's really meaningful.
So everybody, give Josh a nice hand. I know we're on Zoom, and we're actually filming this right now, so it's probably hard to do much applauding, but chat's probably working, right? They can do a little chat and say, "Hey, Josh, way to go."
Thanks again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, thank you. Past transitions, families typically are here, and unfortunately with COVID, I didn't bring my family to Josh's house. I think Kim might be going into Zoom, though, later today. But I just want to acknowledge my family, and you had indicated my family in your little talk at the beginning. Of course, Kim, I've been happily married to Kim for 33 years. And our three daughters, as you mentioned, Ray just was married in February before COVID hit. And she now lives in Kentucky with her husband, Nate. Our daughter, Sean, she's out in South Carolina, finished up at Furman, and she's going to be taking her master's now in Boston. And then Lee, her twin, just finished at the University of Minnesota Carlson.
Hey!
And she plans on going to China in August to teach English. Figure that out.
That's great.
Our theme this next year is Rotary Opens Opportunities, and that was announced in January by Holger Knack, our RI president. And this was before COVID, but how appropriate that that is our theme. With our world changing, the world needs Rotary more than ever. And more than ever, there are opportunities that are present where we can help those in need, from within our club to outside our club. And we want to continue doing our community involvement. It'll be a little more challenging, but we want to do it financially and with boots on the ground, both locally and internationally. We want to make sure, though, that we're doing it safely, with masks, and we want to get involved with what's relevant in the world right now, with COVID and small business disruptions and equal rights. And Rotary has no tolerance for racism. We're going to listen, we're going to learn, and we're going to take action to make positive change. And with our membership, Rotary always values diversity. We're going to ensure that our club is inclusive for all people, regardless of age, gender, and race. And looking ahead at the Edina Country Club, we will be meeting there our first meeting in July, on July 9th. And we did Jennifer Benarot did a poll about a month and a half ago asking if we could have a meeting safely, would you attend? And 55% of you said yes, 25% of you said you were unsure, and 20% said no. So those of you, we fully understand it, we fully respect that. For those that said no, we are going to continue for sure in July and August, and if we need to, we'll continue on with Zoom. And otherwise, those that can make it, we're going to make it very safe. Instead of 10 to 13 tables, we'll have 24 tables and 4 people at a table. And Paul Moody was kind enough to donate masks. We'd appreciate it if you bring a mask, but if you don't, we'll have masks for you, and there'll be plenty of sanitizers. And just looking ahead at some things, we have a fantastic fundraiser plan. Catherine Gump and Bjorn Fordenthal are our co-chairs. Originally, we looked at having it in the Marriott Southwest, big fundraiser, but we realized that's not going to work. The hotel worked with us. So we now have smaller, we're looking for hosts. We're having small gatherings, 10 to 12 people. We're keeping our theme around the world, and every host will have a different country. And we're going to tap in during the cocktail hour with a little competition between countries. So if you want to host, right now I think we have about 5 or 6. We're looking for about 20. Just see Catherine or Bjorn. And I'm really excited about our speakers. Don Hutchinson is chairing our speakers, and he's got a great lineup of speakers from medical to business to community involvement. So it should be really good. We're going to do our leadership series, which has morphed from the mentor piece that Josh did. We're going to make it virtual, so we're going to have it at night, 6 to 7, and we really are excited about that. Once a month we'll have speakers from our clubs. We're doing this with the morning club too. And then another thing I want to point out, we're going to start podcasts. And David Ozzie and Jen Henriksen have been working on that. And we really are excited about that. We want to get to know our members better. And this will be a way to do it by doing interviews with our members and then getting it out on social media, which will be great exposure for us. I want to thank San Asato, John Flynn, and Josh Sprague, the 3 previous presidents, for what they've done to build our 2 boards. We have 2 incredible boards, and I'm so excited. I know we're going to have to stick handle through the challenges this next year, but with our board, we'll be just fine. I'm proud to be a member, and I'm looking forward to being your 66th president, and I want to thank everybody for your continued membership. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Zoom, where we will be live, and I'll close the meeting. This is Sam back live again. And upcoming calendar events to point out, today there's a drive-up parade that will be at Josh's house. You can see the address right there. Come by, honk, and thank Josh for a great year. I'll be with Josh. There's no happy hour on July 1st. And then there's no meeting on July 2nd. So don't show up, it's the holidays. And then we have our first meeting, July 9th. And our speakers will be Brad and Heather Fox from the HD TV show Stay or Sell. And they're from Edina. And then we, in July 23rd, we'll have our virtual leadership series.
Sam, I don't want to interrupt you, but it's actually the 21st. So there's a typo in that one.
A typo. Good catch. Thank you for saying that. In closing, I want to say thank you to the outgoing board members and to Josh, and congrats to Jean Morrison for Rotarian of the Year. And I want to leave you with a quote. If you want to hit the next slide, Josh. When obstacles arise, you change your direction to reach your goal. You do not change your decision to get there. From Zig Ziglar. As you go forward, remember, Rotary opens opportunities. Everybody have a safe 4th, and we will see you on July 9th. Meeting adjourned.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Great job, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Way to go, Josh.
Outstanding.
Good job,
Thank
Josh.
you. Great meeting.
Josh, well done, Sam.
Outstanding.
Congratulations,
Well
Josh.
done.
Rock.
Good work.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, Josh.
Fabulous
Great
year.
meeting.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
job.
Great
Love
Nice
it all.
job, you guys.
Bye.
Congrats, guys.
Way to go,
See you on the
Josh.
boulevard.